Wild AI Pokemon appeared. It uses machine learning. It's super effective. So there were these Pokemon games on Game Boy back in the days that to this day are the highest selling Pokemon games of all time. Some of the originals sell for tens of thousands of dollars as collector's items. But you can play it for free on your own computer at home with an emulator. And this reveals that there are two types of people in the world. The first type load up the game and play through the game and remember the fun that they had playing this game for hours on end in the back of their mom's minivan. The cherished memories of simpler times and childlike wonder. The second type of person also loads up the game and unleashes tens of thousands of AI agents into the world. Using reinforcement learning, these agents start to explore, collect, fight, and quickly learn how to dominate the game. Using modern hardware, these armies of AI agents simulate the equivalent of years and years of gameplay, and they get pretty good at playing the game, and eventually even finding game-breaking glitches that work to their advantage. In this video, we will take a look at this project, the incredible findings, and I will show you how to quickly install this on your very own computer so you can try it for yourself. If you always wanted to try messing around with machine learning and AI and how to actually train something up that is capable of playing a game like this, stick around because I think this might be a really easy way to jump in and try stuff out. It's simple to install, free, and kind of fun to try. If you wanted to train your own model and test the results, this might be a great first project. A+ to the author/developer of this little gem. But I just wanted to highlight some of the high-level findings here. So we influence the agent's actions based on setting up certain rewards. We don't tell it what to do, how to play the game. We don't even really explain anything to the agent. We just reward it for doing the things we want it to do. So these rewards can be things like to catch Pokemon, to win battles, to defeat trainers, to explore the map, etc. And how we define those rewards, as you'll see in a bit, it makes a big difference. You'll find that it's unintuitively hard sometimes to come up with the proper rewards. And then we have the policy. So over time, the agent learns a strategy for how to move and which buttons to press to maximize its total reward. That strategy is the policy. That's sort of the trained agent and how it behaves. So when AI just enters the world, it has no idea what to do. It doesn't have any clue about what the different buttons do. So for a while at first, it's just randomly mashing buttons and kind of moving around in a random, unpredictable way, and just sort of kind of builds up a base knowledge about how to interact with the game and how to move around.
The AI will start with no knowledge or skills whatsoever and will only be able to press random buttons. So for it to get any useful feedback, we need to create a gentle curriculum of rewards, which will guide it towards learning the difficult objectives. Perhaps the most basic objective to start with is exploring the map. We'd like a way to reward the AI when it reaches new locations. More generally, we'd like to encourage curiosity. At this stage, the AI is essentially pressing random buttons just to see what happens. To gather experience more quickly, we'll have it play 40 games simultaneously, and each will play for 2 hours. Now the AI will review all of the games and update itself based on the rewards it earned. If it goes well, we should see incremental improvement and the whole process can repeat. After a few iterations of training, the AI finds its way out of the starting room noticeably faster than when its behavior was random.
And so we have to tweak how we reward the agents as well as make changes to its environment over time to try to create a situation where it's able to learn and improve on the things that it's trying to accomplish. When the AI starts off on the first run of the game, it doesn't know how to do anything yet. It starts out just by randomly mashing buttons and seeing what happens. Over time, it slowly begins to realize which actions change the state of its environment and starts associating certain actions with rewards.
The AI will start with no knowledge or skills whatsoever and will only be able to press random buttons. So for it to get any useful feedback, we need to create a gentle curriculum of rewards, which will guide it towards learning the difficult objectives. Perhaps the most basic objective to start with is exploring the map. We'd like a way to reward the AI when it reaches new locations. More generally, we'd like to encourage curiosity.
Exploration versus exploitation trade-off. Really fast, we have to talk about exploration versus exploitation. Imagine the agent finds some small action that it can do that gives it a reward. The reward is minor, but it's available and right in front of it. It can repeat the action indefinitely and keep racking up small rewards from it. What stops the AI agent from just staying there forever and grinding a small amount of reward without ever seeing any other portion of the world? There needs to be a drive that pushes the agent to explore, to try some random actions that may or may not have a payoff. By trying an action with an unknown outcome, the agent gets more information about its environment. It learns and expands its knowledge. Over time, as it explores more and more of the world, it might be better for it to be less curious and less interested in exploration, and instead focus on maximizing the value it gets from the information it already has. By the way, humans might be naturally wired to behave this way. We are bold and curious when we're young, prioritizing learning and exploration. And when we get older, we tend to become more focused on what we know to be true to maximize our value from our years of learning and exploring. In machine learning, one common approach for balancing exploration, aka trying new things, and exploitation, doing what's known to work. It's something that's referred to as the epsilon greedy strategy, where the agent occasionally takes random actions to explore the world, even though there are more high reward actions that are available to it. Now here with this Pokemon AI, it runs into somewhat of a similar situation where the agent is rewarded for finding new and novel maps. However, as you'll see in just a second, it finds a way to trigger its reward function without actually exploring anything. It just kind of stands there and gazes out at the world, enjoying its beauty.
For some reason though, instead of exploring Route 1, it becomes fixated on a particular area of Pallet Town. Why is this? It turns out, when you're seeking novelty, it's easy to become distracted. Notably, the area it's stuck in has animated water, grass, and NPCs walking around. It turns out, this animation is actually enough to trigger the novelty reward many times. So according to our own objective, just hanging out and admiring the scenery is more rewarding than exploring the rest of the world. Returning to our current scenario, a reward is triggered if more than just a few pixels differ from previously seen screens. But if we raise this threshold to several hundred pixels, the animations won't be enough to trigger the reward anymore. This means the AI will no longer get any satisfaction from watching them and will only develop an interest for more novel locations.
You hear people sometimes developing trauma from negative experiences, especially as kids. You have a horrible encounter with a dog when you're 4, you will now assume all dogs are evil. A clown snuck up at you at the circus, you now assume all clowns are evil. Which, that part is basically true. How we learn and how AI learns are very similar. So what happens when an AI starts avoiding a certain building in the game as if it's full of angry dogs and clowns? Well, it probably suffered trauma from something that happened in there.
We noticed that on very rare occasions, there's something else subtracting a huge amount of reward. Just once per training run, there's consistently a single game where a reward 10 times larger than anything we intended is deducted. Replaying the moment just before this happens, we see the AI walking into a Pokemon Center and wandering up to a computer in the corner. After logging in and aimlessly pressing buttons for a while, it deposits a Pokemon into the system and immediately a huge amount of reward is lost. This is because reward is assigned as the sum of the Pokemon's levels, so depositing a level 13 Pokemon is losing 13 levels instantly. This sends such a strong negative signal that it actually causes something like a traumatic experience for the AI. It doesn't have emotions like a human does, but a single event with an extreme reward value can still leave a lasting impact on its behavior. In this case, losing its Pokemon only one time is enough to form a negative association with the whole Pokemon Center, and the AI will avoid it entirely in all future games. The root cause is that we never accounted for the unexpected scenario where the total levels can decrease. To address this, we'll modify the reward function so that it only gives any reward when the levels increase. This seems to fix the issue. After restarting the training, the AI starts making visits to the Pokemon Center.
RNG. One interesting thing that commonly comes up in these scenarios where we teach AI to do something is that it learns something that we are ourselves not aware of. Some new strategy or some new thing in the game that we didn't know existed. So for example, in OpenAI's hide-and-seek AI training, the AI learned to catapult itself into the air, abusing the physics engine in a way that the developers did not know existed. They didn't know it could be used that way. Same thing happens here. Take a look.
Another interesting behavior, which developed partway through the training, happens in the first few moments of the game. For some reason, it was starting every game with the exact same sequence of button presses. This was confusing, particularly because the movement didn't even follow an optimal path. Watching a little further, however, something interesting happens. It throws a Pokeball immediately on its first encounter and succeeds on the first try. What this made me realize is that even though the game contains many randomized elements, it still behaves deterministically with respect to the player's input. This is something well known to speedrunners, and it seems that the AI has taken advantage of the fact that it starts from the same state in every game to reliably catch a Pokemon on its very first try.
So I will have an in-depth explanation of how to install this on natural20.com/Pokemon-AI. That should be up in a few days after this video is up, but here's a quick overview of how to get started. If you have trouble, check out the links and I will walk you through how to do it. And so once you have everything up and running, you can see the agent running around the world in real time and you can try to interact with it. And when you're ready for the next step, the GitHub page will walk you through how to train up your agent from scratch. So step one is to install this on your computer. You can set up a Conda environment as I do here. And again, keep in mind, I'm going to be building out a step-by-step instructions in the links below. So if you have any issues, take a look. You can also ask ChatGPT for help if you get lost. So I will create a Conda environment called Pokemon. Next, I will clone the GitHub page. Just copy the link from the GitHub page and type git clone and then paste the link. And let's wait for it to install. For everyone who hasn't done this before, it might look super complicated, but there's like 5 to 10 commands you need to know and then you're up and running. Whatever you do, don't get bored and wander off. This is important. Next, we have to get the file online. Now, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Secure your own counsel. I, allegedly, searched for download Pokemon Red GB and allegedly downloaded from this site, pro bono. That means it was free. It's a file that's about 1 gigabyte in size, hereinafter referred to as the file. Okay, I'll stop with the lawyer talk. I will cease and desist. Next, we extract the file. We rename it PokemonRed.gb and move it to the project folder. Now you can be cool and move it within the terminal with the text commands or just drag it to that folder. Next, we change directory in our terminal into the baselines folder. Next, we pip install the requirements and wait for that to finish. In a second, you will see me run into an error message that I'm not sure how to solve at first glance. I try a few things, but they don't work. Now, there are 2 options that we have here. The first, we can smash the computer in a fit of rage. That's option 1. Option 2 is to copy that error message into ChatGPT. And that's what I decided to do. Let's start there and see how that goes. ChatGPT gives me a few options, and one of them solves the problem for me. Hooray. Then we run Python run pretrained interactive.py. And what's this? A wild Pokemon appears. Huh, it caught the Rattata on the first try. What are the odds of that? It's 100% because the AI figured out how to glitch the random number generator in the game to get whatever it wants out of life. Kind of like the people that read that book, The Secret. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. My name is Wes Roth. Thank you for watching. And subscribing to this channel increases your chances of catching the most rare and the most valuable of Pokemon. So click subscribe and good luck.